So I want to take a minute or two to talk about WandaVision, in particular Debra Jo Rupp, who plays Mrs. Hart in episodes 1 and 2, but we find out
Mr. and Mrs. Hart, played by Todd and Sharon Davis,
in episodes 4, 8, and 9. In the series finale, we see Wanda Maximoff's sitcom illusion completely fall apart, mainly due to Agatha Harkness's desire to know exactly how Wanda was accomplishing all of it. Control completely hops off the rails when an overwhelmed Wanda lashes out against her victims. What is particularly telling about the relationship between Wanda and Westview is what happens after she sets everything back to normal. Even with Monica Rambeau and the random FBI and S.W.O.R.D agents around, there is no one and nothing in between Wanda and the township. And there's a lot of things happening here. You've got anger, you've got fear, you've got resentment, but you also have empathy. Remember how Monica describes her own experience inside the Hex?
There was this feeling keeping me down, this hopeless feeling, like drowning. It was grief.
While Monica is absolutely right in saying that the residents of Westview will never know the sacrifices Wanda made for them, Westview does know Wanda's grief, and no one knows it better than Sharon Davis. Take a look at this moment again and watch how Sharon looks at Wanda. It goes back to something Pietro says to Wanda during the town's Halloween event.
Hey, don't get me wrong. You've handled the ethical considerations of this scenario as best you could. Families and couples stay together. Most personalities aren't far off from what's underneath. People got better jobs.
When we meet Sharon Davis, she's Mrs. Hart, the boss's wife. And Mrs. Hart is having a very good life in Westview. But when Wanda meets Sharon Davis in reality, it's a very different scene. So where's Todd Davis? In episode 1, Sharon and Todd Davis are Vision and Wanda's first ever house guests, a huge milestone for these wayward Avengers because they so desperately want to fit into this brand new world of theirs. But in episode 2, when we see Mrs. Hart again, she's sitting with Agatha. And when we meet Sharon in reality, she's alone. Taking into account Pietro's words, Sharon's first appearance in Wanda's illusion, and Wanda's first glimpse of her, it stands to reason that Sharon Davis more than understands Wanda's grief, because that's what's at the core of WandaVision. A story about coming to terms with loss. I'm not saying that everyone in Westview would be empathetic, but when given a chance for retribution, no one takes it. Westview felt Wanda's grief. Sharon Davis understood it. And based on the passing glimpses of people in town before their week with Wanda, Sharon wasn't alone. I doubt if anyone in Westview will be inviting Wanda over for coffee and a therapy circle, but I do think Wanda underestimates her sitcom community. In many respects. Thanks for watching this 2-minute tea break. If you want to make sure not to miss any of the other things I have thoughts on, go on ahead and hit that subscribe button. Make sure notifications are enabled. And I'll see you next time. Until then, enjoy the ride.